Hello, and welcome to episode 227 of the Nerds at Large Gaming Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Darby Hahn.
I'm Jeff Mayer.
Jeffrey about them cocks.
How about some cocks?
How about them game cocks? We definitely didn't plan. We actually didn't plan this.
No.
I made it sound like we did plan this. I don't know.
Happy Chainsaw Man Day.
Happy Chainsaw Man Day.
Alex's favorite holiday.
So I thought the actual anime was coming out today.
Yeah, that's why I got confused when Olivia said he watched the... I assumed he watched the actual episode. I don't know.
I hope so. Yeah, because it's out there in the world. We're in a post Chainsaw Man existence era. It's just it's
May or may not watch it after we record. I don't know. Sure.
Yeah, maybe I'll just step in there and watch it, and then probably not watch any of the following episodes. But we'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Chainsaws will go burr.
The chainsaw will go burr. When are we gonna get a Chainsaw Man anime game? Because it's just a Chainsaw Man game.
I don't know, probably for the next year or two.
Yeah, probably very soon.
And it will probably start production in the next year or two.
If not already.
No, what I mean is it will start production the next year or two and come out in the next year or two. Because anime games.
Because anime games, the beacon of quality. Anyway, Jeffrey, we got a lot of news to get to. Overwatch 2 has happened.
It's true.
E3 has a date.
Yeah.
CD Projekt Red's up to some shenanigans.
A lot of shenanigans.
A lot of shenanigans. There's a lot of shit.
Yep.
So let's not waste any time, Jeff. Let's get into our game talk this week.
Yes.
Biggin.
A
biggin. Overman 2.
Overman.
It is out.
Mm-hmm.
After fucking 3 years of like no content, we finally have new Overwatch content in our lives. How do you feel about it, Jeffrey?
Well, so far I haven't played a crazy amount of it because servers have been fucked.
Servers were yeah. We can get into the actual launch of the game, I guess. Yeah, I don't know what order we want to talk about this shit in. We'll just talk about the game for now.
Okay.
Yeah. The servers have been fucked, but I've played a little bit more than you. You've only played like 2 nights or whatever. I've played more like 3 or 4 or something like that at this point. And so I've played a little bit more. I've played all the maps, obviously, at this point, all the new maps and everything. And
I haven't.
yeah,
I feel like I played like 1.
I believe I have played every single map at this point.
You definitely played a good bit more than I have. Yeah.
I'd be surprised if I just somehow didn't land on one of them, and I've played quite a few new maps. And I've messed around with the characters that I was interested in messing around with. I'm a very one-trick pony, and I like specializing in certain ones. But overall, I am pretty satisfied. Obviously, it is not quite like in a lot of ways. It feels more like Overwatch 1.5 in some ways, and then feels like a big leap in a pretty big leap in other ways. It's kind of a mixed bag of that kind of thing. There's in some ways it feels like you just stopped content on the game for 3 years, and then this is the 3 years worth of content. But with just the characters and maps, like the amount of new characters and maps and everything. But then there's changes like the 5v5 that I think is more of a big more of a big game
changes. I mean, not all characters obviously, but big changes. Some characters like even Doofus changing roles.
Yes, and there's a fair amount of like kit reworks. There's a lot of them are the same, but there's a fair amount of them that are different.
Might get more coming up. I think they've hinted at as well.
Yeah, sounds like it. Yeah, it sounds like they're not afraid to like experiment a lot. Cause there's also multiple things that were in the beta that I played before that are different now. Like Mercy went through several reworks that were kind of worked back, and then Mortar also went through a bunch of things that were kind of changed or whatever. So it's like they're changing things a lot, from feedback. So I wouldn't be surprised if more of these characters are reworked even again after this. But for right now, it is very fun. I am not feeling like the Overwatch burnout. It's feeling nice because I haven't played anywhere near as much the last like year and a half or something. Mm-hmm. So it's been really nice to get in. And I think things like the 5v5, I think just is unequivocally so much better. I think just the matches are just like, you just feel like it unlocks a lot of things with just, I don't know, people just not staying alive forever and ever and ever with the 2 tanks, and especially playing like whenever I play damage, I enjoy playing damage tremendously more.
I think something weird that, at least again, very limited time. I think it's just having one tank, and that just being a giant folk, you're aiming now for one guy a little more, try to get them out of their things. Like, yeah, how long it usually takes to kill one tank, and it's like,
wow.
We had 2 of them, and more things that kept them alive. It's like, yeah,
because that's what
stuff like as we talked about when these changes were being announced in our time with the betas is like, I get it. Some people are upset changes happen or whatever, but yeah, I agree. I think at least the 5v5 change is a good change for this game because just people not staying alive. Oh no! Did it happen again? Yeah. Okay, that's yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. It's something that it's not like a change that's just like immediately punches you in the face, but I think like after you play it a while, you start to kind of you just realize like I feel like I can sit there and like analyze the fight more. I get less of that just colors flashing everywhere. What the fuck's happening in a team fight? And especially like I said, damage. I've been playing some Mei recently, and I just feel like I'm way more able to like I see the support kind of start to walk away, and I'm like, all right, there's no one to defend you. I'm going after you. It's like it's a lot easier to read someone, get some flank on them and catch them out. Whereas before it was like, it's just 2 giant tanks. Everyone's fast as fuck. So it's like it's just it's a lot more of just shooting to the giant meatball until people die. And I like that a lot better in this one. And I think similar to everything I'm saying now is similar things I said in the beta, but it's still true. I think the new map designs are really, really nice. Like I think they feel a lot bigger, even if they're not bigger size wise. There's just more avenues to go. Like,
yeah, we were talking about flanking. It's like the new maps obviously give you more room to do that and stuff to get like height advantage and all that kind of stuff.
For sure. I think some of those older ones feel more just narrow 1 or 2 paths now in comparison to these, And like we talked about, I think back in the beta thing, a lot of the old Overwatch maps had a lot of corridors and buildings that were kind of useless because the fight just never went over there. There was no reason to ever go over there. I feel like they did a better job in these new maps of making like the points here, and there's like all the way around the point there is like a lower deck and an upper deck of things and different winding ways. There's ways to get behind a team where they wouldn't be able to just sit here. I'm defending this place and this place. We're good. It's like it's this place, but also they could go up these stairs behind you and get to you. Like it's just a lot cooler. I think it's a lot better design. And I've been really into it so far. I really hope it stays. Generally, when I see people actually playing the game, when they actually get to play the game, I have seen a fair amount of positive. Positive reception, which obviously Overwatch 2 is just notoriously chat upon for some good reasons, but sometimes it just gets annoying, but like I have seen a fair amount of positive for the actual gameplay itself, so I'm pretty I am satisfied with the launch game wise, more than it could have been.
Kiriko's hard.
Kiriko is hard.
That kunai, it's not good enough.
I like her a lot. I do.
I like
we
her
haven't
kid,
talked her. I like her kid. Like I think it is cool to have like a high skill damagey type. At least with the damage side of her kit being high skill type of thing in a support role. Even if I don't end up playing her a whole lot, I think it's a cool addition. The cleanse is also a very cool addition. I wanted a character that was less about just spamming healing and had something else like that. And I think there's so many CC, there's so many like crowd control and like stun and stuff abilities in the game that it's kind of nice to have a character that can counteract that, but it's not just like counteract, like throw it on there and forget about it. You have to time it right. You have to be very good about it.
Kiriko's there, that means no stun whatsoever.
Right.
It's like, well,
you got to time it because it's a very small window that it does that. So I definitely have. I think she's cool. Junkner Queen still feels amazing. I still love playing her.
She was fun one. The match or 2 I played as her.
Yeah, I do wish we had more than just 3 new characters. Honestly, but at least it doesn't. It's not going to be too long before we get another one. Like it probably this winter, right? Yeah. So that's not awful. So you want to talk about the actual launch of the game?
Yeah.
So there's been it was a lot of shit happened. Just with just people not being able to get in the game the first few nights that we played. There was just like long queue times, and half the time you would get to the bottom of the queue and it would say, "Oh, we failed to log you in," and kick you back out to the back of it. And it's like, all right, well, shit.
Fuck you.
Which that kind of shit happens with a lot of online games, especially going to free to play. But the like DDoS attacks and stuff like that like shit got a lot worse than just people not being able to get on the game. And I do feel bad for the team.
Yeah, it's like it made things worse. And as we talked about, everyone's just ready to pounce on Overwatch.
They are. I think those things are going to be kind of forgotten about over time. Like I think if the game just runs well and can
obviously, and it's obviously getting better. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be like normal Overwatch as far as getting in and stuff at some point. That's again, it's an online game, and argue whether it needed to be the case. They pretty much relaunched it as a new game. So it's going to have those new game issues, yada, yada, yada. I feel like, yeah, things will kind of settle down and maybe things will get better once, we get into the swing of things and there's like a steady stream of content, and hopefully they can keep that up. Because I remember when we were talking about like their plans as far as seasons and stuff. I don't know. That seemed to be a pretty steady stream of stuff. That like, okay, yeah, this is fine.
Yeah. It's all yet to be seen. I mean, Overwatch has had good moments and bad moments. I mean, this just, again, it's a mix of, it doesn't quite feel like this whole brand new crazy game was just released. It does in a lot of ways just feel like the same game we've been playing, but just with some really good changes. So I think it's just in a very good spot as far as enjoyment factor on that. But I mean, the whole story of the game is going to have to be written similar to what it was before. It's just how they can keep up the content release. If this free to play thing works out for them, I do still, we don't have to rehash everything, but I still stand by the locking of characters. Obviously it doesn't matter for us right now because we played Overwatch 1, you unlock them all immediately, but for new players, the fact that you only have like 3 tanks unlocked at the beginning, and only a handful of like DPS and like 2 supports, it's like that sucks for this game. It's just I still stand by like that. I don't really like that choice.
And obviously, as we talked about, the heroes are going to be locked in, new heroes are going to be locked in battle passes.
Yeah.
Again, have they? I guess it'll be however the old heroes are unlocked as far as like after the battle pass. If you didn't get it through that.
Again, yeah.
I don't even know how the new heroes are technically, or the old heroes are unlocked. To be honest.
Same. I honestly.
Because I feel like everyone who we're hearing about playing the game / watching stream play the game are people who played Overwatch 1.
Right.
So.
It doesn't sound like it's on the battle pass, and like briefly Alex, it fucked up one time when we were playing, and Alex's characters were locked even though they shouldn't have been. And it doesn't look like it was on the battle pass, but they did.
It's not.
But they did. I think they did say something about a free battle pass or a free upgrade pass, or it's free something. So there's, I don't know if it's tied to levels or what it is, but I am, whenever the next actual new character comes out, it's gonna be like. Because right now it's the normal battle pass thing where you can pay the like I think it's like $10 for the just to get into the battle pass, and then you have to play to earn all the things on the battle pass, and then there's like the $20 option to get the battle pass plus like 20 levels or something like automatically unlocked.
So, question I guess for you, and I understand if you don't know the answer to this. Do you know what level you are currently?
15, I think.
Okay. Because it's 55.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was like. So it's just every single time a new character comes out, it's going to be the end of that battle pass without any like.
It's not
without
the end. It's like 55 out of 80.
Still, yeah. Without any paid way to just say like, I want to give you money and get the character now.
Okay,
so because that's the question I have.
Actually, so assuming, and I'm going to assume they're going to do this because they will make money off of this. Yeah. They're going to do the same thing with, apparently they're doing with Kiriko. Yes, in the free battle pass, it's 55. But if you paid for the premium battle pass, you got Kiriko immediately.
Okay.
I imagine that's kind of what the future
well,
is. I'm not looking forward to paying $10 to get a character quicker.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, no, it sucks regardless. I just do want there to be like I would have been extra double mad if to get the character I had to pay money and then play to like level 55 or whatever. Like after paying money, I still had to play for weeks to get them. Then I would be like omega pissed. Like if I'm gonna give you money, I better get the character. Like now, this is not a skin. This is a character. I better get the character immediately.
Luckily, looking at the battle pass for me, I mean, it might change. I mean, honestly, I like Overwatch skins, but I have absolutely no desire to actually pay for them in any of them. So I see no reason for me other than like if I just want the character immediately, if I like really might be into them. I see no reason for me to buy battle passes for this game.
No, I haven't bought this one. The Mercy skin is the only one I want. I'm kind of like if I get there, sure, I guess I might buy the battle pass.
That's also something with
but it's like I don't want the last thing I want to do is pay $10 for the one skin that I want and then not get to it.
That's true.
Then I would be really pissed off. So that's basically how I'm treating it. It's like basically if I see something I like and I happen to get to it on the battle pass, I might then consider paying the money to actually unlock it. But which I think it kind of I think if you buy the battle pass, you get like your XP goes up faster or something. I think, of course. It's all kind of dumb. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna spend a whole lot of money on this either because I also like the Overwatch skins, but it's not the biggest deal in the world.
Well, I think like compared, and obviously the other games like compare this to Fortnite, where we bought too many skins for that game. That is the game we put money into. Yada yada yada. At least we see those skins.
Yeah, it's always a thing with Overwatch that's weird because you don't actually.
And you would pay to get a skin so other people can see it. Pretty much. Well, yeah, Fortnite. You get to see them and make them do funky dances. What's the fun of it?
Yeah. Same thing. I think League and Fortnite because the skins just like they look very cool. They do a lot of cool effects or whatever that you actually see. Like I like skins more in League and Fortnite. Overwatch it was cool because you didn't actually have to pay real money. You just got them. You can pay with the in-game currency and get them. That's definitely gonna die some now. With the way this is going because the good skins are not going to be.
I know people do. I can't say I care for skins in Overwatch to actually get. I mean, obviously cool, love the design, so a lot of them.
Yeah, no, very cool skins, but yeah,
don't care to own them.
Yeah, I agree. Overwatch, I'm happy it's here. Ready for the single player. That will be very fun next year. Very fun.
Pay for that though. Yeah, but a game I did pay for, Darby, and I've also been waiting for a very long time for. Is Digimon Survive, a game we have talked about, but I rolled them credits. It has been done. All these years of waiting, I am done with the game for more and have started the process of another route. But Darby, I can now say after finishing, this is a good video game. The hype is real. It did it.
They did it.
It was definitely that fear with everything is like, oh god.
Oh yeah. We were pretty, I think rightfully so. We were very concerned about this game.
No, I can say this is what I wanted. Whether it was the perfect version of it is up for debate, obviously, but it's generally speaking, it is what I wanted this game to be. It was a darker story, like
right.
These fucking kids died.
They did not hold back.
Yeah, and they went to like. They actually did real issues. Like the storyline I went through talked about like a stalker, like a guy stalking like a teenager, like a 12-year-old.
Oof.
And went into some of that stuff, like, all that edgy, whatever stuff, like Digimon and like when stuff with story has been just straightly kid stuff. So having kind of the vibe of like the Digimon anime in ways, but going in like darker and having more mature themes and stuff was very nice to see.
Being pretty aware of the fact that their audience has aged at this point. Like
and compared to other Digimon games, it's something I mentioned, and again, I continued to love is the fact that each the like kid characters had a partner Digimon with their own personalities and arcs as well, which was very nice. Compared to other Digimon games where they're like Pokemon, they're just your monster slaves.
Right.
With no personality of their own, but these all had distinct personalities and had a lot of lines and all that kind of stuff, which was very nice.
Oh, yeah.
And I mentioned before, like gameplay, as far as it being very easy, difficulty definitely ramped up.
Okay.
There was a boss, I'm like, this is stupid bullshit. Like, because legitimately, unless you grind a fuck ton, it will one shot all your monsters. So you gotta strategically like do it around so you don't get like close enough to proc like, to kill them immediately and try to surround them and try to knock them all out very fast. Otherwise, he will slaughter your team.
So maybe not completely the fun type of hard.
No, I had fun. It was, kind of a puzzle, like figuring out, okay, yeah, I got to be smart about what monsters I use and with their move sets and all that kind of stuff. It wasn't like frustrating. I mean, when I talk about like these, I didn't die too much, really. Still, like even the most there was like twice in one thing. So it was like frustrating, like, oh, this is impossible.
Right.
I had fun.
Right.
Which, it was at least nice from the opposite. It's like, oh, this is going to be a breeze going through it. And it could have potentially been more of a breeze if I didn't like focus on leveling up a bunch of as many Digimon as I did. Maybe if I just focused on just like the player characters or like the main characters Digimon instead
So
of
are
the
you
wild
choosing
ones.
a team every time you go out? Like,
Depending on the story and stuff, they'll have like, you have to use this Digimon. Like they're playing like,
Right.
you have to use Agumon.
right.
But yeah, you can recruit a whole bunch of Digimon.
Nice. Yeah.
And I like that.
So overall, you thought the strategy part of it was at
was
least
fun.
good enough.
Yeah, especially
not
since-
its strongest suit, but
Yeah. It's not like
yeah.
the best ever. It was fun, especially since it's not something that you're doing a crazy amount because it is primarily a visual novel. So it's just nice way to break up all that and
Right.
do all that. And it's strong moments where depending who you're fighting is like, yeah, this messed up. Everything leading to this, and then what happens afterwards, fucked up.
You think it's one of your favorite Digimon stories?
Yes, definitely. And I am curious to go through the other ones. I don't know when because all these other games are coming out, and probably should take a break so I don't get worn out on it and end up not liking it. But I do want to go through because I think I mentioned it before. It is very easy for me because I have a save point. Then I can easily just go to the other two main routes. The main problem will be the true ending where I have to literally play through the whole game again.
Yeah.
So
Is it one of those things where a lot of things along the way will be different, not just the ending? Yeah.
so
Or is it maybe just the ending?
it's going to be a lot of the same for the true ending, because there are 12 chapters, at least in the ending I got, and the point where you make a choice is at chapter 8 for the three normal endings. And I'm going to take a guess and say for the most part, there have to be a couple key differences to where it'll be at least a little bit different. But I imagine up through chapter 8, so about 2/3 of the game is going to be roughly the same.
Maybe if you're just not feeling it at that point, maybe just YouTube's fun. But,
Yeah.
But you can cross that bridge when you get there. But nice.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see. I'm very interested to see like where this ranks at the end of the year for
My new year could be bonkers, especially with all
end
the
of
games.
year overall and for like narrative and for
Yeah.
I'm interested. That's I'll be interested.
It's got hard competition with Xenoblade and like God of War also.
I mean,
yeah.
it's not. I highly doubt it's gonna beat those, but I'm just
Yeah.
interested to see where it does land.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm also just I'll probably be using your end of the year to be like, oh yeah, that game. Oh yeah, that game. Because I can't think of that many games right now, but I know that you have a bunch of them.
Yeah. A lot of good shit. But yeah,
A lot of shit.
I'm just so happy that Digimon Survive lived up to the hype.
Yeah, no, I think it's worth hanging on that like that was far from. I mean, we assumed the game was probably gonna come out a mess.
Yeah.
With the how long it just went silent and it just kind of seemed like
They're just kind of throwing it out there.
and every time they showed it off again it would just kind of look like the same shit or whatever. It was like I don't know, yeah, I was not very optimistic, so I'm very happy to be wrong.
And based on NPDs, it might be selling pretty decent.
Yeah,
I'm curious, what their projection was and like how much it is actually sold. I'd be very curious for those numbers.
nice. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's a win
It's win for anime. Let's go.
All right, Jeff. News jingle.
Jingle, jingle, jangle. Darby, for the first two stories, we're going to talk about your two favorite companies. Google and Meta.
You know me, corporate shill number one.
Yep. But let's talk about Google first.
Let's join together for a funeral.
Yes. This comes from Matt Kemp from IGN. Google has announced it is winding down its Stadia video game streaming service and will shut it down on January 18th, 2023. In a new blog, the search engine company revealed that Stadia hasn't gained the traction with users that we expected, and as a result, the company has made the difficult decision to begin winding down the service. Google will be refunding users who purchased either hardware or games from Google and Stadia. Quote, we're grateful to the dedicated Stadia players that have been with us from the start. We will be refunding all Stadia hardware purchases made through the Google Store and all games and add-on content purchases made through the Stadia Store. Players will still be able to access their game library and play until January 18th. And a couple little extra things before we talk about this. Ubisoft, Bungie, and some other developers and publishers are working on save transfers for their games from Stadia onto like other PC services. All right. So yeah, save transfers. And many devs working on Stadia games were blindsided by this announcement. Oh, you saw a lot of my game was coming out like in a week / next month, and that guy kind of trashed it.
Yeah,
and did not know this was coming. And even like literal like 2 days before this announcement, we're talking to their Google reps about promoting and that kind of stuff.
It's sad. It's not surprising in the least that Google has a track record of always doing this, it seems like, with like so many other projects.
And then we talked about when this kind of like the idea of Stadia is not necessarily bad. I mean,
no,
because it is something that we're going to lead to, and Xbox is doing it to, you know, at least more critical acclaim. People are liking it more, but I think it's kind of how they're presenting it. Because the big problem with this, I don't even know if they added it, was the whole not being able to download shit.
Yes.
We even talked about like, hey, we might grab some games on Stadia if we had the option.
They went
do either or. Why are we having issues?
I switched you to mine, and we're using a different mic for you. What the hell? I put you on the input that I'm always on. Why does your mic keep...
I am cursed. I'm just too powerful.
I really don't get it. Make sure you're talking into the mic just in case it's not picking you up. When I lift it up and put mechanics.
Yeah. I am talking. You are hearing the sound of me voice.
You know, audio, we need a Kevin to come in here and look. Is it me now? Yeah, that's me out now. I don't know. Just talking about Google for a second.
Okay. My favorite company. Yeah. So this is not a surprise that it died. I don't know, like, you know, if it's surprised like it lasted this long, or maybe it didn't last longer. Just don't know. Though I do give them props for doing the whole I am talking. I do give them props for the whole refund stuff. That's a lot.
I am surprised to hear that. That has to be one of the like most widespread refund jobs I've ever heard of from like a company.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, they just straight up just all purchases made through Stadia or whatever. Maybe there's some weird asterisk thing to it to make it not sound as big as it is, but
because that's across like several years.
Yeah,
it could be a lot of money depending on the people.
It's even hardware, so as long as it's like it's registered on their accounts or whatever that you purchased it, I guess you're getting a refund back to your card.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there's some people that like are hearing this, and especially if you know they enjoyed it enough and got through all the games they wanted, it's like, oh, I'm just getting a bunch of money back.
Yeah, just get a bunch of money put back.
Probably a couple $100 just back on your account.
Yeah. Yeah. Now I regret not buying some. Yeah, but as far as just Stadia in general, they just went too hard on we're doing this new streaming thing. It's a new streaming thing, so it's like, so it has to just be the new streaming thing. I think like probably internally they were like, if we offer the download thing, it takes away from the streaming thing. You know, it's like it takes away from the new hardware. We got to push the new hardware. When they should have realized, it's like, I think pairing those two things would have been the key, because it's just the options. It's giving everyone options, and it gives you some fallback room. It gives you some wiggle room that if the tech does not quite work for everyone, like it was never going to, and it's not even really Google's fault, it's just internet, especially in America, is just very spotty. Some areas it's really good, some areas it's really bad. So in a like putting it everywhere, it was just never going to completely work no matter what they did right now. So like I think they should have covered their ass, and they should have like been like, yeah, we can be Steam and you can also do this. It's like, and just offer, it's like, yeah, you can do all the same things you can do buying PC games anywhere else, and then you can also stream them on whatever device and do all this or whatever. It's like, it's just that I do legitimately think, even though I still don't think it would have been huge, I think that would have helped a tremendous amount.
I think what also did not help is they
Right.
you know, when they made the announcement for this, they were talking about like game series. They brought out Jade Raymond and all that, and other promises of exclusive games, and pretty much had nothing for that one Tango game a couple years back. Now I am louder. So yeah, I think not having those games also hurt it. Just having something to entice people to at least try it out.
Yeah, they weren't. I mean, it was going to be a tall task to do this anyway, and you would have, even just getting the games they got. I mean, like you would have had to have something pretty freaking massive to like take, to really like bust into the gaming sphere, you know, as its own thing. And it was just, you were just asking people to take a gamble, you know. That's why I never was going to do it, because like I'm not going to go buy this game full price and then have a worse experience, you know. Yeah. Like I'm not even going to take the gamble on that. I'm just going to do it on the where I can download it on my nice PC where I know that it'll work. You know, it's like it was never going to be a proposition that was going to work out for them really, and it was already just it was a hard road even if they did everything right. So it's like a part of me is like, I don't know, we should have sold this tech to someone else to, like, you know, make that the Google tech, but everyone else uses it or something. But it's like the way they did, they also just had like, I think they had too lofty of expectations for it. They like brought it out as this
Google lofty.
I think the whole thing, if it was, you know, I think Amazon Luna right now, I think is like something that they like
exist.
But that's kind of the point, though. That's like, they're not really like going out here like acting like this is gonna like shatter the world necessarily. So like, I think it's quietly doing okay. But Stadia was like, yeah, I don't know, like
they promoted it a
lot
for sure,
a lot. Made a very big deal about it.
Yeah.
So R.I.P. Funeral for a friend. It's been good. Maybe not quite as bad as the Ouya as far as the span. You know, they lasted at least 2 years, 3 years.
I think it was 3 years.
3 years, you know. You know, substantially worse than the Wii U. That's rough, but
true. I mean, everything's worse than the Wii U, let's be honest.
The best console of all time. You know?
Exactly. Okay, time to talk about your other favorite company, Meta.
Let's go. You know, me and Zuck.
The Zuckers, you like to call them?
I do call them that.
Yep. So I guess they had a presentation today focused on the Meta. I don't know. Talk about VR stuff. They announced that they acquired Camouflage, which Darby made that Iron Man VR that was PlayStation VR exclusive. Actually, formally, because they announced it's also coming to the Meta Quest. And I think this month they said.
Wow.
Cool. Twisted Pixel, which I forgot what they said. What they actually made. Blah, blah, blah. And
hold on, everybody.
And also Armature Studios, which did Resident Evil 4 VR.
And
also, I forgot about this. They also have former retro devs who worked on Metroid Prime.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
those are those are big gets as far as VR goes.
For sure. They're trying. They're definitely. I mean, did they buy? They've bought multiple studios this year, even before this, I think. Right? So
Yeah,
it's like,
they own Beat Saber as well.
Right, right.
And there are other ones, but that's the easiest one to remember.
yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, they're ramping up.
I guess the good thing about potentially as far as consolidation, yada yada yada. For Armature, as an example, is Meta worked with Armature and Capcom to make that, so that could mean at the very least Armature is going to make something kind of maybe more similar to that. Maybe not, if they make their own original thing, cool. But also maybe something like Resident Evil 4 is not off the table now that they're owned by Meta. Because Meta footed the bill as far as we know for Resident Evil 4 VR anyway. As far as I know, Resident Evil 4 VR should not be coming to PlayStation VR 2.
Yeah, I didn't know it was funded by Meta. I just assumed
I think that's the
Capcom
case, yes.
did. Interesting. Yeah, so licensed stuff could still be
on the table.
Yeah.
For that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, consolidation obviously sucks in a lot of ways, and Meta as a company. But but in the grand scheme, I mean, I do think they're the best headset right now when it comes to affordability and yeah. Well, at least the Quest 2.
Yeah, at least the Quest 2. Let's move on. Well, they announced Among Us VR is coming November 10th. That's fun. That's jolly.
That's fun.
All this is about they announced the MetaQuest Pro. They also announced that Xbox Cloud Gaming is coming to the MetaQuest store. What does that mean, you ask? It means you can sync up your Xbox account to do all that kind of stuff and play your game, like your Xbox Game Pass games on a giant movie theater screen in VR.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how that looks and everything, but it's one of those things where it's it's probably not going to be a seller, but if it ends up being good, it's hey, that's a neat feature.
I was about to say, you could technically do that on the PSVR. I mean, part of the reason why that sucked is because it just looked like you were playing your game through a screen door because of the PSVR screen. So maybe it'd be better on that, but I still just wonder how
Quest. Let me say this: Quest 2 quality in general is more, and it's just better in PlayStation VR. Just straight up.
Yeah, I just wonder if are you ever going to sit down and play The Witcher, some game like that or whatever, and put on your headset just to look up at the screen? Are you ever gonna do that? It's I wonder. But cool.
Available for purchase October 25th. Darby, guess the price.
So this is
a MetaQuest Pro.
So is it a new thing as in the things before will not or that I don't know. It's going to release things that can't be played on the 2, or is it just more powerful? Is it going to have
that is a fair question
games?
That I don't know if they especially said so.
Okay.
But yeah, just guess the price and we'll go into more.
Say $800.
$1,500.
Holy fuck.
So I think legitimately
I would not have gone over $1,000. So I would not have thought
this seems to be more for businesses because they talked about business use as well for this.
Yeah,
this is going to be using at arcades. Arcades are going to buy this, and this is not for as much as consumer use. So it makes me think they could be a MetaQuest 3 at some point as well to go in line with the 2.
That's fine. Yeah, there ain't no way this is supposed to be the next generation of Quest.
It's over 1,000 more than the Quest 2.
No. Yeah, this is a specialized thing for like you said.
It looks nice, and it sounds like it's even some people that are more smarter than me with specs and stuff are this is nowhere near worth the money with those specs in comparison to the Quest 2. This is straight up for businesses.
God, no. $1,500. Are you freaking kidding me?
But I have not used my MetaQuest 2 as much as I want to because busy with other stuff, and got to be in the mood for VR and with work and stuff. Yeah, I need to play it more, but I'm so happy and it sounds like at least the Quest 2 is not going away anytime soon as far as them supporting it and all that. Because there's no way they can be like, oh, we're in the Quest 2 development because we got the Quest Pro. Like, no one's gonna buy that shit.
No, all I needed to know was the price to know that's not the case.
But I like how they're obviously still going to try to make games with these purchases and everything. And I'm again still very curious to see that Grand Theft Auto San Andreas remake in there.
Yeah,
because they funded Resident Evil 4 VR, which everyone says is amazing. So I'm sure they're looking at, working with other developers, making that and like really trying to polish it to make it good.
Could be fun.
Yep,
could be fun.
They also showed off Beat Saber AR, like you're doing it, but it's like your actual room in front of you.
Huh? But you're wearing the headset.
Yeah,
it just looks like your room.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Be interested in too. I mean, I feel like I like the designs in Beat Saber. Yeah. But I don't know.
One of the things that's like, hey, it might be cool just to mess around with. Your friends are in front of you doing weird.
At least I can tell when I'm about to punch my friend in the face on accident.
No. What you do? The meta is doing Beat Saber, and your friends are in front of you acting like they're playing the song.
Okay, man. There needs to be some Beat Saber game where it's like, or Beat Saber mode where like you're both wearing headsets looking at each other and you like throw things at them or something and they have to do it.
Oh, wait, no. That, and also now they have multiplayer, you do that with the AR and you're both looking at each other while you're battling against each other.
Yeah, you're going against each other.
Yeah.
That'd be fun. I need to play some more Beat Saber. I did get the Billie Eilish pack and play through those, and those are good. But I need to perfect them.
Perfect. But
you know what CG Projekt Red needs to perfect? Putting out a stable ass game is what they need.
Without crunch.
Without crunch.
Yes. So yeah. Long story short, CD Projekt Red announced a couple projects. Went into some stuff. Cyberpunk has sold over 20 million copies. And all
Thanks, anime.
Yes. Saved by anime, like most things. Let's go through these projects, Darby, and talk about them. First one of the 5, Project Orion, a codename for our next Cyberpunk game, which will take the Cyberpunk franchise further and continue harnessing the potential of this dark future universe. Orion will be developed by a brand new CD Projekt studio set up in the US. So not be made by the ones we necessarily know and love, but yeah, still CD Projekt Red, but
a new one, because it seems like they have a bunch of new
needs
studios.
to obviously be done if they're going to work on all this shit.
Because
they pretty much been. I mean, isn't it pretty much just like one main studio up to this point? Obviously,
it has been. I think that one main studio has gotten huge, but numbers wise,
they obviously need to break up or start different legs of it to make all this stuff work.
Have to, and they've made enough money to do that. I mean, for sure.
Obviously, Cyberpunk sequel makes sense.
Yes,
I'm down. Let's go.
I am too. I think. I have to hope that as far as just the polish of the game and everything, that they've learned their lessons enough. I mean, again, like we said, the polish was not the only thing wrong with that game. The game was also like wasn't quite up to what they had promised originally. But if that game had come out a year later, it basically came out how it is polished now or whatever.
Yeah,
it would have been received
much better.
It's still like there would have been a little.
Might have said that like there might be some disappointing.
Sure, a little bit. It just wouldn't have been. It still would have sold a ton. It would have been a big. It still would have been up for a bunch of awards. It would have been a big deal. Like still, even with a little bit of disappointment. So I just hope that this time with this, they know that they have to really focus on getting that right out the gate. But that world, again, just watching that one episode of the anime again just reminded me again of how cool that world is and how like I love the design of it. And it's like very over the top and edgy. Obviously, it's like that's the vibe of it, the butt rock edginess of it. But it's like it's a fun world. Yeah. It's a very fun world. So I am down to see an exploration more into it. I'm interested to see if this will just be another big giant open world thing, or is this going to be like a different type of vibe with it. I'm interested.
Yeah. Polaris, a codename for the next installment in the Witcher series, a game which we recently announced was in pre-production. It is the beginning of a new saga. We aim to release 2 more Witcher games after Polaris, creating a new AAA RPG trilogy. The full trilogy is intended to be released in a 6-year period.
Keyword on intended to
Yes.
release.
And also really important to point out, it's not 6 years from now, all 3 games are coming out.
Right.
It's 6 years from when the first game releases.
Which I still think is not
No.
not going to happen.
No, that is still crazy talk, but it at least,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, it's a lot better than saying within the next 6 years.
Yeah.
That would really be.
I mean, yeah. Then the news here is the whole 6-year period thing. Technically, is what they're trying to get it like relatively in quick succession.
That does make me feel like they're probably intentionally going for a smaller game, like just at least in just sheer size or whatever.
Yeah, I have. Go ahead.
No,
No, I'm saying at the very least, I imagine like once the first game comes out, you're not going to get expansions at the size of the Witcher 3 expansion.
Right.
Instead of those expansions, it's going to be the next game,
Right.
which is fine.
Yeah, those expansions are practically games.
Yeah.
But they could have been especially Blood and Wine could have just been another game, like by other series
It's like
standards.
30 hours, right?
Yes,
That's a game.
The map is huge. It has a whole big.
No matter how you look at it,
it,
that's a fucking game.
yeah, no, it's amazing. It's great. Yeah, I don't necessarily think it's going to be like just the like fucking quadruple decker burger that Witcher 3 was, but I don't think that's a problem because Witcher 3 I think was just like that was them like trying to blast onto the scene, like really trying to like punch you in the mouth and just like really made Witcher a thing. They made Witcher a thing. I think you can focus on just making a really good, tighter, maybe 50-hour game. I mean, it's still going to be a big RPG, 50-hour game rather than a freaking 100-hour game like it was. So like, I don't think it's like there's no cause to panic. I'm not worried about it, but I think if anything, it would probably be a better thing for like the studio and stuff too. But I imagine it's going to be something more akin to like an Assassin's Creed type release where they're just hoping to like build off of it for all 3 of these games, build off the same engine, build off a lot of the same mechanics, and go game to game to game. And that's probably why they feel right now they can eye the 6-year thing.
I mean, it might have a very the map might be pretty much about the same with some variations because it's taking place in the same world.
It could be, which I'd be fine with that. It's like I'd be fine if all 3 of these games look the same. It was like as far as like visual style or whatever, like wouldn't bother me. But yeah, we'll see when that happens. But at least I think. They also say in here somewhere, I think all these games pretty much are Unreal 5 now, right? Which I think is, I remember hearing that in the ECLS podcast.
Yeah.
I think that's also probably going to be a big help because I think everything they've
going
made
forward,
before.
Yeah. But take some time for the first like project or 2, but obviously, development will be easier, especially depending on how much assets.
Do you think this is the Siri game trilogy, or do you think this is a new protagonist and completely new something else?
With the Lynx thing, it makes me think new.
Yeah.
Because
that, I mean, do we know? We do know that those 2 things are tied to the Lynx thing is tied to this.
They said the one recently announced in the pre-production.
Okay.
So
and that was the one with the Lynx. Is like there's no Lynx Witcher house right yet, so it was like so obviously a new thing. So
I mean, if they make it so like they go with the spoiler alerts for Witcher 3 because there are multiple endings. One is Ciri becomes a Witcher. Her starting her own school, and they went with that ending. I'm not against.
I think that's still.
It wasn't my ending, but sure, whatever.
I still think that's very much a possibility. Yeah.
It'll be a major reveal what it is, whether it's a new Witcher or a Ciri or how. It's going to be big news no matter how they, whenever they confirm how little or how much like Geralt and Ciri are involved.
I'm down with it. I'm down with pretty much anything
besides Geralt being
Geralt being the main.
I'm with that.
We've gotten Geralt's story and it's amazing. I love Geralt's one of my favorite characters of all time. But I would like to move on.
Canis Majoris, a full-fledged Witcher game separate to the new Witcher saga starting with Polaris. It will be developed by an external studio headed by experienced developers who have worked on past Witcher games. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the one where it's like, oh no.
Yeah, and the wording, and maybe like wording that from a different thing in this made me think may not be a full-fledged RPG. They might have used action. So
I mean, they did the Twin Breaker
Yeah.
Gwent story game and Gwent. It's like, so this could just be a completely separate. It could be more of a turn-based RPG strategy type thing or something, or it could be like one way or the other. I kind of doubt it's also going to be a big open world RPG. I feel like it's gonna be something something different.
Cool.
But yeah, no, spin this world out. This world's cool.
Sirius, a codename for the game developed by the Molasses Flood, set in the Witcher universe and created with support from CD Projekt Red. It will differ from our past productions, offering multiplayer gameplay on top of a single-player experience, including campaign with quests and a story.
Monster Hunter?
Maybe.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Witcher Monster Hunter.
I mean, yeah, I guess, obviously Witcher, just focus more on the actual monster hunting.
He is a monster hunter.
Yeah, go with friends to do it. Yeah, that could work.
That would be cool. Yeah. I'm down with that. There's a lot of Witcher monsters to choose from.
Have to not use the combat from 3. Improve that greatly.
No. Yeah, totally new combat. New combat.
And Hadar, whatever. A codename for a third entirely distinct IP created from scratch within CD Projekt Red. The project name is at the early stage of the creative process, which means we are not developing any game yet. We're working exclusively on the foundation for this new setting. So don't expect this for another 10 years.
Oh, yeah. But that is really cool because, I mean, CD Projekt Red are amazing storytellers, but it is kind of interesting that we haven't seen them do their own IP. Yeah, they haven't done their own IP yet at all, so that excites me.
And I'm very curious what the general vibe is, because we got like the general like medieval fantasy stuff, and then obviously the future is to cyberpunk. It's like, which way they go?
Those are polar opposites.
Yeah, they're very popular, and like those are very popular things anyway, so it's like,
there's literally no way to know, no way to tell. It's like, but that does excite me. I mean, obviously, I'm going to be excited about it right now, and then try to forget about it for many, many years.
Oh, it'll be easy to forget because at some point we'll get this stuff.
Yeah. But
it's obviously one of these things are at least kind of being worked on.
How do you feel about that? I personally, I've seen some people immediately kind of getting mad and saying like, you're doing this again where you're like announcing things too early and overhyping or whatever. I actually disagree. This is just like a press release. This is just like, we're being upfront with you. We're showing what we're doing or whatever. I think this is more of like transparency. Yeah. It's not like they're coming out here being like, this.
I agree with you. And to kind of add on to that, something that we've been talking about in the game industry is like, it's like level of secrecy compared to like the movie industry and everything, where they're like we follow the MCU and they're like, here's all the shit we have coming like next 20 projects and everything, and generally when it's about coming out, and sometimes we're like, well, why isn't the game industry like this? And well, it's because a lot of people are complain about this stuff, and just any little thing it's like that. And as far as this being different from Cyberpunk is they actually gave us a trailer for that and the name and everything. These are just like, hey, these are projects. They made like one of these is like, we're just planning. There's no game. Like there's not even close to the game being in production and everything. And I think this is fun because like, okay, we have an idea of like where their headset is at, because here's the thing, none of this stuff is a surprise. No. A Cyberpunk sequel, new Witcher trilogy, potentially a new IP. It's like, okay, it's going to be one of those anyway, obviously. It's like, oh, we're getting all of that. We pretty much got the next 15 years of CD Projekt Red. There's no question about what their kind of stuff they're working on. It's like, okay, cool.
Yeah, no, I think that's cool. Yeah, it's until you really do that first trailer. Like if anyone gets overhyped about this or be like, you announced it, that's kind of on you at that point. Really, it's like this.
If we get like the next year or so, and people are like, CD Projekt Red said those project names like a while back. Where are they? It's like
you're being silly.
You are the reason people don't say this stuff.
Yeah,
I would love game developers to do more shit like this. Imagine we got like project names from Nintendo.
Well, it probably is so much easier on the developers to not have to be so secretive about literally everything. It's like, at least they're like, yes, I'm working on The Witcher. I can tell you I'm working on The Witcher. We all, it's good. Whatever. You can go move on. with your life. Yeah, if they came out here and showed some like very obviously bogus CG cutscene thing or whatever
For all of this.
for all of this, when it's like clear there's no actual game for any of it, yeah, that would be a little disingenuous or a little frustrating. But yeah, this I honestly
This feels more
want
honest,
more
like,
of
let's
this.
say even with Bethesda when they announced Starfield and Elder Scrolls 6.
Right. This is a random post on a just like, hey, this is what we're doing. Yeah, it's gonna be really cool. Not E3. Oh my god, guys. It's here.
Yeah.
We're doing it. You wanted it. Here's a JPEG. There's the title. It's not coming for another 7 years. Yeah, that
Still waiting on fucking the first game. And they gotta do the oh god fuck. Honestly, I'm glad I'm not a Bethesda fan. Sounds stressful.
I faded a little bit in my Bethesda fandom, so
I mean, well, I guess I say that I'm more curious now that I've actually played like the Outer Worlds. Like, okay, well, I at least got a taste of that kind of style of open world.
and that is very similar to
Yeah.
Bethesda games.
So, let's talk about Sony. Come from Andy Robinson from Video Game Chronicles. Sony Entertainment is planning to release a remaster of PS4 title Horizon Zero Dawn for PS5. That's according to a report by MP First, which Video Game Chronicles can corroborate via our own sources. The updated version of the 2017 Guerrilla Games title will feature improved visuals to bring it up to par with this year's sequel, Horizon Forbidden West, in the form of new character models, lighting, and animation. That's claimed. In addition, it's claimed the new version of Zero Dawn will add accessibility features, graphic modes, and quality of life improvements to the gameplay itself. And they also mentioned like multiplayer stuff attached to it, or a new multiplayer game, yada yada yada. There's also a leak of a list of Sony related projects, which didn't really have anything new besides like confirming this being so. And a weird thing when this report from MP First and Video Game Chronicles came out was, okay, based on the vague wording and they weren't quite sure if it's a remaster or remake. The list kind of makes it sound like it's more of it's a remaster. Problem is, the line is very blurry between those two at this point.
Very.
And especially when Video Game Chronicles, who, sources said this, and they've been pretty reliable with this kind of stuff over the last little bit, talking about improved visuals that is supposed to be like the sequel with new character models, lines, and animations. Hey, doesn't that sound like a game that just came out?
Yes, it do.
Which they call a remake?
And charge $70 for.
Exactly. So here's the thing. I'm tired of this bullshit. And I know I can understand people being like, why are you getting like upset about this kind of stuff when people do the whole remaster stuff, yada yada yada.
Mm-hmm.
Those were kind of, I mean, I know it's not as straightforward, kind of more ports and all that kind of stuff. Sony is now starting to like making a habit of doing this stuff and putting like legitimate effort into making these games and then charging more than the original game was.
Right, and that's why I just want to be clear for anyone listening. I think I feel this way. I'm sure you do too. I mean, the reason of being kind of upset is just the expenditure of Sony resources towards this rather than something else. Right? Yeah, for a game, it's just like even
it can be played in 4K on PS5.
Yeah, it's fucking weird. And I mean, well, correct me if I'm wrong. Like, it's such a like. You can get caught in hypocrisy with this all the time because it's just there's such a weird blurry line that's all like a cash grab. But like the Last of Us thing, I think the Last of Us remaster you kind of get away with more because that came out with the PS4 coming out, right? That was the console generation jump.
Okay, so you're talking about the original, the remaster,
The first remaster.
Yeah. So it came out within, I want to say that 2014, maybe a year or so after
it was
the original.
basically that was the PS4 port.
Yeah,
but they just it was also a remaster at the same time or whatever. I'm just trying because that's almost what we're at right now. As far as I mean, this is more time than that, but this is like very shortly after the game, whatever type of thing. Because like I was about to say, even if it is even if it's a straight up remaster, that's still a little weird at this point when it's like.
Well, and I think a difference to point out between like with Last of Us Remastered and the remastered version of Last of Us, the first one, and coming out of the PS4 is the PS4 is not backwards compatible. So if you have a PS4,
right? Yeah,
that's the only way to
that's
play
what
it.
I mean.
Yeah. Where the remaster and Last of Us Remastered and their original Horizon are both playable on PS5,
right.
and they have gotten updates to play better on the PS5.
Yeah. That's
at least Horizon has. I guess I can't say that definitively.
That's basically what I was getting at. I was kind of going too roundabout. But that's basically where I was like, the first Last of Us Remaster, no one really bats an eye because it was like it was a port. There was no way to play it on the PS4 until they did that anyway. Yeah, this is just like weird all around. I mean, let's all be very, very clear. I mean, this is happening because like they want all of these games to be these are their marquee things. They want to be the PlayStation things and like the mascots like Horizon, Last of Us, God of War, whatever Naughty Dog does next. Those games or whatever. And they just want to. They're doing this because they think enough people will buy it at $70 to make the money. It's and they're probably right. They're probably right because I'm not necessarily mad. I'm mad about the.
You're disappointed.
Yes, I'm disappointed about the resource expenditure is the biggest thing. That it's like this time could have gone to something else. The fact that it's on the market doesn't like make my blood boil. I'm just not going to buy it and move on. And I do think this is primarily for people who haven't played Horizon Zero Dawn, and there'll obviously be some super mega fans that play it that buy this. But like by and large, this is for people who are like probably similar to I think The Last of Us Part 1. This is also because they have an upcoming TV show coming out, and they want the TV show people to be able to like similar to The Last of Us, I guess, play the best version, even though the original version not that old.
It's good.
It's weird. Yeah. But the fact that it exists on its own in a vacuum doesn't really piss me off. It's just a thing that I'm not going to buy. But it is a weird trend because, like, are we just going to do this shit with all these games? It's
right after that, God of War PS4.
I was about to say, I'm surprised that hasn't happened yet. It's like, it's because you're just going to release a game and every 5 years later, it's like release another $70 version of the game. It's just, I know Sony has to work to catch up and everything with Microsoft doing all this, but it's just weird. They're just like double and triple and quadruple dipping on the same game. It's very strange.
Kind of not completely related to this, but something I thought of. I feel like I didn't see crazy amount of talk for The Last of Us remake or Last of Us Part 1. So I'm just really hoping we don't have to see it a bunch during awards season because that's going to feel weird.
Yeah. I'm also just, we talk about Switch Pro. Just don't want to talk about it. I'm sorry that I said the words on this podcast, Jeff. I'm so sorry. It's probably been a lot of podcasts since those words have been uttered, and I'm so sorry. Is this a remake? Is this a remaster? I'm about ready to put that right in the trash can with that. Aren't you so fucking tired of just like, is it this? Is it that? I don't know. I'm just sick of it.
Yeah.
It's not a fun discussion. Because like you said, the lines are so blurred.
Yeah.
Labeling is all just, it's kind of a matter of perspective and it's just weird.
Yeah. I agree with you. When we hear a remake, we should get more excited about things like.
But those words just don't mean anything at this point because things have been called remakes, they're remasters, and things have been called remasters, they're remakes. So it's just like.
Now, when I hear a Resident Evil blank remake, I get excited.
Sure, there's certain individual series like
when we hear remakes, we should be thinking more of those levels, or at the very bare minimum, the Crash and Spyro remakes. Like at the bare minimum.
But you just by the name remake doesn't mean anything anymore because you have to dig in to see what that actually means. For them,
and sometimes things are considered a remaster where we used to consider like this feels like a remake. It's like,
it's just such an uninteresting, like a little analysis we have to do. It feels like multiple times a year now, and I'm just kind of bored with it. Personally,
Pokemon. Okay, so we're seeing the getting to the point of the Pokemon new game cycle where the Pokemon company's like, hey, we're pretty much going to release a trailer every week because they did that last
shit's
week.
imminent.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw, Darby. They announced there's a new trailer tomorrow morning. When this trailer just came out we're about to talk about came out last week.
See, if I were you, I would be in media blackout. I know that you can't fucking help yourself, and you probably watched every trailer like 10 times each. I mean, you're literally. I can't wait for us to get into this game and you to be like, okay, I know there's an item over here.
Yeah.
I know if I go down this path, I'll get
We'll
this
get this Pokemon.
this Pokemon. I can't wait. It's gonna be hilarious. Anyway, all right. So, you excited about trailer number 67?
Of course.
What of these trailers have they been revealing new Pokemon? All these trailers?
Yeah. I mean, that's the main thing to get excited about with these.
Has there been a single one you didn't know in advance from the leaks?
Early on, maybe.
Oh, Jeffrey.
It's the thing I mentioned this before. The thing I like about the way these leaks are going, for the most part, it is just general. Like, this is the general description of this Pokemon. Like, hey, there's apparently a dolphin. Cool. I don't remember like what type's supposed to be and all that because that was the fun thing for it.
Yeah, but it's just funny. But you enjoy your thing. How you're gonna enjoy.
Also, it'd be impossible to at least avoid the trailers, especially if there's mainly the seeing new Pokemon, because that shit's gonna be all over Twitter immediately and the internet.
Just have sports and gay Twitter and you'll be fine. It never gets on my Twitter.
But why did they announce a gay Pokemon?
Man, it's gonna happen.
But they didn't announce a new Pokemon on this. And funny enough, though, I just said what I said. This is the one Pokemon I saw the model of a while ago. Because it's like the one that got leaked. And that is Faragiraf. Which is the evolution of the Gen 2 Pokemon
Faragiraf.
Girafarig.
Oh, okay, this is giraffe. Okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
The giraffe.
Emo giraffe.
Yeah, emo giraffe. And has the abilities Cudchew and Armor Tail. So, Darby, let me tell you about these abilities. Could be fun Nuzlocke abilities if we happen to
hit me.
These Pokemon. Cudchew. If it eats a berry, it will automatically get the effects of those berries again at the end of the next turn. So let's say we use it for a healing berry. It will eat the berry, and then a turn later, it will get the effects again. One more time. Which is very useful. And Armor Tail, which means the opponent cannot use priority moves. You know, like Quick Attack, where they go first automatically. It means they will not be able to use that shit.
But it's wait, this is a move?
Pokemon have abilities.
Yeah.
Like inherent abilities.
But
each Pokemon have two that they could potentially have. They only have one at a time.
Okay, so this is just like a passive thing on them. Okay, gotcha.
All Pokemon have them.
Gotcha. Okay.
These are the two. So these are the two that this Pokemon could get.
They normally have stuff that affects things this much.
Yeah.
As their abilities. Okay.
They're crazy.
Okay. Maybe I just haven't noticed like these crazy abilities.
We talk about them, but
I know they like intimidate.
Yeah.
Intimidate is an ability. Like, gotcha.
Yep. Yeah, they range as far as how interesting and crazy they are. Like, obviously, intimidate's a nice one.
Yeah. But it's simple. These are definitely more like involved.
Like, Mimikyu. Its ability is it can take one hit with taking minimal damage.
Right.
Because it's called Disguise. So it's like, it hits the wrong thing.
Right.
Part of it.
Yeah.
They showed off. This is a big ass 15-minute trailer. It's mainly an overview trailer, but they have a couple little tidbits to talk about. Wild Pokemon with rare Terra type sparkle in the overworld. So they showed like a Jigglypuff that they found like in a little corner that like sparkled, and then you battled it and it terrestrialized, and it was like a water Terra type. So that's how apparently you find at least some of the rare typings out of the wild. So probably like a lot of the ones, unfortunately, we're going to find are going to have basic ass ones. Like if it's a normal type, it will probably be a normal Terra type.
Because they're going to hide these like deep in the map somewhere.
Depending on it, though, then we might look out with some where we have most of the Pokemon in that route. So the rare Terra type one is the one we happen to come across first.
That's cool.
Yeah. And they showed the menu where under its type, it does all the Pokemon, it has a space to show its Terra type.
Yeah. I think that mechanic is so cool. I think it's a very cool.
And it'll be funny. I'm hoping the ones that are different than its main typing are not as rare as they may be making it sound, because they'll just be a lot of fun, especially for the Nuzlocke. It'd be exciting. It's like we look at its nature, it's like, oh,
yeah,
and its abilities, like what's its terror? Like, oh shit, that could be cool.
Oh shit.
Yep. And Darby, you can go on picnics with your Pokemons.
Yay!
You can make sandwiches with ham.
Hell yeah!
Where's the ham come from? Looks a LeChonk.
Yeah, I don't feel comfortable if we have a LeChonk, which we almost certainly will, because it's probably the starter area thing or whatever. I don't know. I don't feel comfortable with the ham sandwiches.
I can't remember everything that have the picnic. You can like take pictures and stuff while the picnic's out.
I want to have a picnic with Snorlax, and Snorlax like eats everything.
Yeah. And picnics are where you get eggs. So
is that where we get eggs?
Yes, where we could get egg. So I guess the story is Pokemon's like the fucking picnics. I don't know.
I mean, who doesn't? Let's be honest.
No, this is an interesting one, Darby. TMs.
I just want to point out, it's very funny in your doc when you wrote TM, it made it into like the trademark like TM. I just thought that was funny.
This document is trademarked.
Yes.
Cannot be used by anyone else. So TMs, Darby, you know, it's been weird in our Nuzlocks where, unfortunately, in Brilliant Diamond, the one we're currently going through, TMs are one-time use.
Yeah.
And Sword and Shield, it was very nice where they are unlimited use.
Yeah.
They're back to one-time use.
Boo.
Still. But you can craft them.
Yeah.
At Pokemon centers, it looks like you can do that, and
Maybe
it will
get around it.
You know, it will easily show you like what you need to use to craft it, and it is parts from Pokemon. So you defeat Pokemon, you monster hunter them. You defeat them, and you get parts from them that are used to make the TMs, and you can make as many as you want.
Okay, well, that's good. That's a workaround.
So that'll be
hopefully
interesting.
it's not too tedious.
Yeah. Well, the nice thing they added was the Let's Go thing, where you know the Pokemon follows you and you can send it out to battle without going actually into the battle screen, which could make that easier.
Yeah, your grinding, it sounds like, might be a lot faster in this game.
And it's something I could use like when we do our Nuzlocke during my regular playthrough. Who gives a shit? But for our Nuzlocke, I'm gonna want a lot of those TMs because that will be good to have. When I'm grinding, I can purposely look for the Pokemon to get TMs that we want.
Right.
So that'd be cool. And finally, the Team Star bosses. You've seen the Team Star, the crazy motherfuckers.
Oh yeah.
You raid their bases. What you do is ring a bell and you go in and you fight them. I think something that's a couple of very interesting things, which could be very fun for the Nuzlocke, Darby.
Yes.
You can only take in your first 3 Pokemon. So in your team, the Thirsty Pokemon team, those are the only ones you go in with.
I like that. I kind of hate this like 6-on-1 or 6-on-2.
So yeah, it will be with our like rules, assuming which we probably will go into the randomizer thing again. It's like, well, it's less chances to get good Pokemon.
Yeah, we might just walk in with the dead ass team.
Yep. And you actually fight the grunts like in the overworld using the Let's Go mechanic. It looks like so instead of like going to the battle screen, or maybe you might be able to go to the battle screen, but it looks like you just send out one of your Pokemon like in the overworld, and they like fight their little Pokemon like in the overworld.
So you're not like making decisions there.
No.
I mean, honestly, those fights were such a waste of time.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't exactly understand how this mechanic works.
I'm not 100% sure, like, the little goings as far as the Let's Go mechanic.
Honestly, it will not upset me if we expedite the grunts, because that's like my least favorite part.
Yeah. And then you'll battle the leader of that section of Team Star, which they hint at there's going to be more to it. Like you defeat their Pokemon, and then there's like a stage 2 of it kind of thing.
Oh shit!
Which again, for Nuzlocke, especially when we have to lead Pokemon, could be very interesting. So I'm excited about that. And
they're all gonna like have weird typing Pokemon at the end because they're gonna use their Terra thing, right?
True. Probably.
So it's just,
also, something interesting I just remembered, which could be fun and interesting, is in the previous trailer, and they talk about more here. You fight the giant Pokemon, which they were called totem Pokemon in Sun and Moon, which they seem to be more like that. And obviously they're the big ass Pokemon in Arceus, which the alpha Pokemon, which are harder to kill and stronger. And I seen this way here.
Gotcha.
it might be hard to get away from not getting a death against those motherfuckers because they have a lot of HP and hit harder.
Stay away.
So I'm just saying, Darby, there are more possibilities of having some crazy shenanigans happen. Which again, I'm all for.
Yeah,
let's do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I continue to be excited for this game.
Let's go.
I'm curious to see.
I'm excited too.
Tomorrow.
I'm excited. I'm glad that I have you and the Nuzlocke, so I get to experience them and witness it. It'll be cool.
Again, we just got to figure out what we're gonna do with the Brilliant Diamond Nuzlocke if we just kind of scrap that for now and go straight to Scarlet.
We can get back to it.
Yeah.
It'll be there for us.
Mm-hmm. It's just, I think part of the reason it's harder just because it's so much of a Gen 4 remake. It doesn't have all the quality of life
the
stuff.
tedium was ported with it.
Mm-hmm. So yeah. Darby, we talked about Pokemon, which is one of my favorite franchises. Let's talk about one of my other ones, One Piece.
No, let's talk about me. I'm the One Piece person. Let me tell you all about.
No, you're the crying Chopper meme. The One Piece is real. Chopper doesn't actually say that, but you know.
Jeff, One Piece Dragon Quest.
Yes, we got a new trailer. It is posted on Alabasta, and the main reason I'm talking about it here is, kind of confirming that you are going to pass One Piece arcs and going through those things, and it brings me great joy, like going to Alabasta, and it's like you're just walking through the town, and it seems to be like the main locations that you go to there seem to be faithfully recreated.
It's like a warm soup. It's just nostalgia soup.
So I haven't seen too much like negativity towards it, but I saw a little and I can kind of maybe understand it, that maybe some like, it's retreading going to past locations and arcs again. Yeah. So at least this has a different thing of, okay, well, they've lived through this, so they can have some interesting quirks with it, which could be fun. I'm excited for it in the way of, I'm excited this is the turn-based RPG. Well, and going through these locations, and especially if they're as jolly as like Dragon Quest towns, going through these different towns and everything like that, and battling old enemies in JRPG turn-based battles. I'm excited for that. I was about to
say, like, they're going through this again. You haven't really adequately experienced this in a video game, right? They have not really had a good story-based video game for One Piece where you could explore these areas and these towns on your own. It's like, there's always been like, these fighting game type things for the most part, right? They're like, not like, I'm
beat 'em ups or
explore this environment, fully. Like, I think it's okay for them to lean into some nostalgia when it comes to that. It's like, I just hope that the story is not too like throwaway. I just hope it's not too like a non-canon movie kind of like.
Oh, it's going to be. It's going to be non-canon.
But I know. I hope it's not like a bad. Like, it doesn't feel like
bad
a bad non-canon movie. And I know it is going to be a non-canon thing. I just hope it doesn't feel. I know y'all complain about like the Dragon Ball things that their writing gets very bad in a lot of those, and it's just very fan servicey in a bad way. That's my biggest concern.
I hear. Yeah.
But everything looks from like the world and everything. It just straight up looks like Dragon Quest, which is great.
Yeah,
wonderful.
Makes me very excited. What I have here is my hopes potentially for what the other 6 arcs set, or another 5 arcs that it could be, and a couple little things I hope they do. I'll talk about Alabasta real quick. It's the one they confirmed. Obviously,
looks jolly.
Yep, looks jolly. I want to fight Crocodile, which is the main villain of that arc. He controls sand. Could be fun to do that. A cool mechanic. Some of this, I don't know how far they're going to go with maybe some weird one-off mechanics for JRP, like in these battles, but I'm just going to go into the stuff that they are for funsies. So one thing about Crocodile, it may not be... They have introduced stuff to where this isn't an issue, but let's say they kind of strip him of that just for the fun of it. Luffy has trouble hitting him because he's literally made of sand. The way Luffy gets around this is if Crocodile's wet, he is not sand and he's physical and you can hit him. Okay. So maybe you can do something like you have to hit him with water from an outside source or something before you can actually do damage to him or something.
That'd be cool. Yeah,
weaken him, something like that.
Yeah. Like that.
Some other ones I have. Fishman Island is one that not my favorite arc. It's a lot of people's one of the least favorites, but it is one of the two that they show like on the ceiling 6 symbols that are like to represent the 6 world arcs we're probably gonna go to, and this is obviously one of them because one of them is a literal fish.
Yeah, probably so then.
Which will be nice. It's a nice visual location because you'll be under the ocean and you'll be fighting like fishmen and stuff. And I think it'll be a nice like differing location and all that. So I am down for that one.
I like sea, like towns. Is it a town under the water?
Yes, there is like a fish, like fishman towns, which will be fun. So instead of like the normal like people, it'll just be fishmen and mermaids.
I like that vibe. I've always liked that.
Skypea, which place in the sky, and there's like clouds, and one of them is clouds. So it's like, okay, it's gonna be that one. Which again, kind of like that. It makes for a good like JRPG thing because we're gonna be in the clouds. They're gonna be people with wings and all that.
Right.
I think for this one, you gotta fight him now, which is a lightning boy, and do all that. Could be a lot of fun and all that. And yeah, this one I feel like Skypea is one of the big like it felt like an adventure kind of arcs. So going through there's like a big forest with ruins and stuff you can go through, and that's easy enough to do. And then like the towns and all that kind of stuff.
That's cool. I mean, it does with the settings too. Like they also sound like kind of general vibes of like Dragon Quest of like this globe trotting. You're going under the sea, going to the beach, going to the snow, going to the whatever. It's like so it fits very well.
Yeah. I'm not really settled on like what my other 3 would be, but I'm just going to pick 3. I'm just going to pretty much pick pre-time skip arcs. It'd be fun. Like, okay, they're post-time skip now. Let's have them react to stuff that happened in the past, yada, yada, yada. Right. And just based on the timing of them making this game, I think some of the time skips don't make sense. Like, they started at the pre-Wano arcs I've seen people throw out there as one. They literally started this game in the middle of that arc. So I don't think that one's probably going to make the cut. But could be wrong. It'd be cool. Water 7/Endless Lobby. This is a weird arc where it's technically 2 arcs, but they happen literally right next to, like they flow into each other. So they're counted as like one arc. And pretty much you're fighting literally the world government and some of its agents.
Hell yeah.
Robin, one of the crew members, the story of it's like is at least for the in his lobby part of it is been taken, and Luffy and the crew are going to save her, and they literally declare war on the world government.
Hell yeah.
So I think that'd just be, a fun thing because the Water 7 part of it is like a cool, is a cool town, and just going to that and it's gonna have a bunch of fights. I think have a lot of room for cool like boss fights depending on how many fights they want to do against old characters and all that.
Yeah.
Because it's one of those arcs where every character got to fight against this.
I was about to say,
big bad.
Does it seem like from the trailers, are they just inserted into like just the spot they were before, and they just go through the events they did before, or do they like? Is it a Final Fantasy VII remake?
So the only time we got to see this at all was that trailer you watched right before it, and based on it, it's hard to tell exactly what they're going to do with it because we only saw one of the bad guys.
No plot ghosts.
None of them we're aware of. Yeah. So I am curious to see what all they're going to do with it.
Yeah, I wonder when you travel there, is Robin just gone, or is she?
Actually, when they saw Alabasta in that arc, Robin is a bad guy. Is an antagonist, and she is with the crew then, which could also be fun because Vivi, memory Vivi, to her, Robin is a bad guy, and she reacts like, why is she with y'all? Why are you acting friendly?
So wait, is there a memory version and a real version of them?
It looks like it's just the real version. Doesn't seem there's not gonna be like 2 Luffys running around.
Yeah. But there was a separate Robin that's a villain?
In the past, during the Alabasta arc, Robin was a villain. No. There's gonna be like a memory version of a character that traveled with them during Alabasta, but isn't with them now. You know what I'm saying? So they'll be seeing a memory version of her, and to that memory version of the character, Robin is a bad guy. Okay. Because, yeah.
But so are they supposed to be in the present day, and they're traveling back?
Pretty much, it is their present day selves going in the past.
So was Robin not with them when they go to the past? There,
she was in the trailer, so she's there with them.
So there are 2 Robins?
I don't know if they're 2 Robins. They haven't, they haven't
Right.
showed her. I'm just saying to the memory version of their friend
Right.
that they had during then.
So
Robin is the bad guy.
Memory version of someone else who
Yes,
didn't
yes,
travel
yeah,
back.
yeah,
Okay, I got you.
Yeah,
I
I know
thought
a bunch
you
of
meant
names,
I
bunch
thought
of
you meant
names.
memory version of like someone else in the party, and I was
Yeah,
like, it feels like there's a contradiction here. But
Yeah.
I got you.
This one, I definitely want to be on Thriller Bark, which is like a horror like land type of thing, where there's the main guy, Moria. Let me show you this fucker real quick.
You guys have shown me him.
Yeah.
He is very round.
Yeah, he can like steal shadows and put them into corpses and zombies and stuff, and like give them their abilities and fighting abilities and all that. So I think having him would be good because there are a bunch of potential boss fights like him. There's like this giant that gets Luffy's shadow, which is a pain in the butt. So that could be cool. And there's also a girl who is really popular, who is no way that they're gonna not put her if they do this. Let's see. This girl right here, name's Perona.
I like her.
She has her fruit makes her have little ghost. That if they phase through you, you get very negative. You just get like very depressed, and it had some funny lines like went through Luffy, and he was like, "If I am reborn, I want to be reborn as a snail or some crazy shit." I think for her fight, if they do it, she uses her ghost, and what they do with her is when it attacks and goes through someone, it gives them like a random negative status effect.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah. If they
I think it'd be cool.
Yeah. That'd be cool.
And final one I have here is the Impel Down Marineford arc, which is considered one of the biggest ones. It is the arc where, if it's not clear right now, One Piece spoilers are on the table. Luffy's brother is being executed by the Marines / the world government, and he is going to save him. And to do that, he goes into the biggest, worst, most impenetrable jail in the world. And that's the first part of the arc. And you fight this giant poison man, which could also be very cool as a fight, and have these giant beasts. They're like fruits that turn people into like beast monsters or whatever, and there's some of the guards or some that are kind of like beast monster guys. So those could be cool, like just enemies you fight, big strong ones. So you go through that, and then you go to the Marineford thing, which would be weird for a arc or potentially JRPG thing. Is it's like one straight like big out war battle thing. But I think what would be cool for a final boss fight. So there are in the Marines admirals, and they are just supposed to be.
I was about to say you better add One Piece on to them.
Sorry, to me, One Piece is everything. There are these fuckers right here that are just strong as fuck. That's
like mobsters.
The man in the middle is literally made out of magma and controlled magma. The guy on the right is ice, and he is light.
Light.
Yep, and they're all like some of the strongest characters in this world. What I want to happen, because they showed in this game, in the battles, you can be separated. So they're like two different, like maybe 2 or 3 different battles going on where your characters are separated. What I want to happen is you're in a fight with all three of them, and they're separated.
That'd be cool. Yeah,
and it's one of those fights where you can't win. You just got to survive a bit.
yeah.
Or even if you win, whatever. I think that could be a cool idea.
Yeah.
And I kind of want that arc to be part of it, just because, again, if you're going to the memories, I think it'd be cool to see like how Luffy reacts to being in the memory of his brother's execution, pretty much. Like how does he react? Yeah, I think that could be one of the more hard hitting things for potential hard hitting things for this. If they really want to go hard with it.
I like it. All these sound cool.
Yep. Didn't go into much if I want to. I want to make a PowerPoint, but didn't have the time. So that's what we're getting for now.
Still very cool. I'm very, very excited for you and Alex.
My hype and expectations are growing for this game, which is dangerous.
Yeah, I think it looks good. I would be surprised if it turns out to be
I'm not
bad.
expecting like a obviously 9 out of 10 general game of the year contender. Like if it's in the general range of like a 7.5 to, let's say even an 8, I think that has the potential for that.
I feel good about
I
that.
will be thrilled. Like this is one of those games that whatever score it technically probably is, generally speaking, it's going to be +1 for me at least.
For sure. No.
So again, if it's like a 7 or 8, let's go.
I think it looks like they're nailing it. The concept is simple enough. Yeah. Like I feel pretty good about it.
Yeah. And again, this is an anime game, which according to them has actually had a normal development like cycle/time.
But yeah, no.
All right, let's talk about E3.
E3. I thought E3 was dead.
Never. E3 will never die.
Well, we will probably keep calling any event in June E3, so in some way it will never die.
This comes from Billy Given from IGN. E3 2023 has announced the dates of its return, June 13th through 16th, with separate days and halls for press and public. Following 3 years of uncertainty, E3 is set to return in 2023 at the Los Angeles Convention Center for an in-person experience. Partner digital events will precede the physical expo beginning on June 11th, but the legendary event will run from Tuesday, June 13th to Friday, June 16th. While recent E3's blended business and consumer sides of the industry into a single event, E3 2023 will separate them into 2 fairly distinct parts. Tuesday, June 13th to Thursday, June 15th will be dubbed E3 Business Days and will concentrate on industry professionals and gaming media. Meanwhile, Thursday, June 15th and June 16th will be known as E3 Gamer Days, offering an increased focus on consumers where they can go hands-on with the future of gaming and connect with developers, content creators, media personalities, and more. Gamer Days will take place in a separate hall to Business Days. So on paper, this stuff sounds good.
It does. I mean, it does. It took them too long to get here, and they had a lot of messy steps in between, and it's yet to be seen how it all comes together. But it does sound better. I mean, it does sound like it's actually addressing some of the issues that people have had.
Again, I've been hitting the hammers to this. We don't necessarily need E3 at this point. Mm-hmm. I love it to be around while the press conference in 1 week. I don't want to sound like I don't want that. Right. But the actual event itself is something I don't feel like we have needed. But the main thing that I missed the last few years, because I feel like this is for some reason an unpopular opinion, but E3 being around, if E3 still happened, the game announcements really wouldn't have changed that much. I still would have been upset with what was announced, or the wrong things were announced. But what I am happy with is, and with Jeff Keighley's thing, and we're getting both, so we're likely to get all the good shit, is games media hands-on time, because that's the one thing that's been missing. We're big fans of Easy Ally, them coming back and talking about everything they played. We got a little of that with Jeff Keighley thing, but it was a very small bit compared to previous years. So E3 and Jeff Keighley going into this, and probably will be bigger than it was this past year. That's good.
Yeah, I am. The Keighley thing is kind of a whole nother pillar to this. That's where
I don't know if Keighley's announced a date yet. I'm hoping Keighley's not the same week as this at the very least.
Yeah, that's more like, I'm definitely somewhat concerned about the split between the two, because it seems like E3 still has some hold on this, so that's going to be weird, the tug of war between the two. But yeah, as far as I'm concerned with this, obviously, and everyone said that it's they started letting people in there, but all the gaming media people were like, this is not a very good fan experience. No. You would probably have a lot better time going to Comic-Con or Gamescom or something like that or whatever. This is it's just not a lot to do for fans. I think this is a good amicable middle ground, because they obviously, I think, financially want to keep having people come in, and it is a big hype event for gamers or whatever. And so I think doing this is very good to hopefully you're able to really actually focus and make it a little bit more like a Comic-Con, make it hyper and a better experience for fans. But last year, part of what the last 2 years I've just missed around this time is we saw trailers for Final Fantasy 16, for the Rebirth wouldn't have been one of these, but a bunch of different things, Forspoken, all these other things or whatever. But it's I'm used to, you see the hype trailer and then it's I'm gonna go. Kind of funny, he's we all got to play this, we did all this easy hours, we all got to play it. We got none of that. And that's honestly the things that the hype announcements are very, very cool, but as far as the substance things, that's what I care about way more, is hearing the hands-on. And I know that also Easy Allies have talked about it, in recent years, let's say they got to see half the games they normally do, just because it's so busy. So it sounds good. It really does sound like a step forward that would be good. I'm interested. Like, do you think? Like, what do you think happens now with like Xbox, Nintendo, Ubisoft, all these other
So-
ones? If there's,
I feel like the way this is going to go, again, as far as the actual announcements we are getting, that's not going to change. The curious will be like, yeah, as far as like, I guess, in a weird way, this will show the allegiances of companies. Like, where physically do they go? I think there'll be plenty of ones that go to both. Like the physical event for Summer Game Fest and E3, they'll split them, try to get as many people as possible. But also, as far as I know, they're in the same town, so
they
might actually pick one. I do think like Nintendo, if they do have a presence, will be at E3 because Nintendo seems to be one of the companies that seem to, at least in comparison, stick with E3. Xbox, I think, will probably.
I mean, they were just missing in action last year.
Yeah, I think Xbox will probably split it at both, and like whatever physical presence they have will be at both. I think the big ones like Capcom and Ubisoft will probably be similar. Like I have to imagine with Capcom being Achilles thing, they'll also be down to having like, especially Street Fighter 6 is not out at that point, or even if
it's just weird because like there's gonna be. It feels like one is going to get more than the other in some way because Xbox has a Xbox showcase that is the Xbox showcase. Yeah. I don't think they're going to have two Xbox showcases. They might have some Xbox games in one of them, but I think their real conference is still going to be in E3, and they're just going to give Keighley some games. Is the feeling I get.
I think there will be we have plenty of showcases that technically are branded under both, kind of like we did the year before, but that doesn't really matter.
Oh,
the thing that will matter to us
it really does.
Two is like, okay, where are like which event are we getting these particular game impressions from like Easy Allies and Kind of Funny and the like?
Right. Yeah. I see what you mean now.
Yeah,
it's gonna be the weird thing where they both
the actual announcements for conferences. It doesn't matter.
I really don't give a shit. Yeah, I really couldn't.
People will fight for it. Like there will be the Xbox showcase, and no matter what, no matter how it's actually branded, there'll be a bunch of weird people on the internet that just call it. It will say it's just E3, and E3 is the reason the showcase was that good or bad. Especially people will be like, "This is why E3 needed to be back." It's like it literally does not matter. That has been my argument the last 2 years. It really does not matter.
It's just okay. The games are the games.
Yes.
I mean, last year, I promise you, it was more from the fact that we just went through a 2-year global pandemic.
Exactly. That's been my frustration with it and why I haven't seen like such a crazy anti-E3 person. I'm like, there's more to this shit. It's not that difficult.
No, I'm with you. I mean, the whole time I've just been like, I just want games. I just want to see a showcase.
Also, I'm just going to go ahead and say here, Sony's not going to be at either of them.
No,
Sony's not coming back. Sony's not doing a bunch of big shit in June anymore. They might have a state of play that focuses on third parties like they did this past year.
I mean, the thing is, Sony always has a big showcase in the summer. It's just like at this point, they're doing it like on the principle.
Or they do it like this year and don't have one. They literally have not had like the big one that everyone's wanting.
But at this point, they're just doing it on principle. They're just never going to go back on principle. Even if they're like, they do a showcase the week before, it'll be like, hey, it's not E3 now. You know, but yeah, I mean, yeah, it's still, that we're going to get a big gaming, June is going to be a big gaming release trailer month. As it always is.
Especially with the physical. The good news about the big physical events, and I feel like, again, Summer Game Fest is growing, so Keeler will get more stuff in his showcase, as well as, especially since the pandemic, even compared to June, is lying down as far as people being comfortable with things, especially with E3 coming back. We will get, I guess I'm going to kind of contradict myself a little bit slightly.
What?
I think there are a couple announcements we probably would have gotten, or the trailers will be affected by the fact there are actual physical events. Because they'll be like, okay, well, we're actually going to show gameplay. It makes sense for us to have the games media to play this stuff here.
Right.
So that might influence that, or maybe even influence an extra game or two being announced. But nothing too crazy.
Yeah. The biggest difference, I'm just happy that, like, I feel like we're going to have hopefully more buy-in on having playable games, because like Jeff did do a physical event and had people come to play games, but just nowhere near as much as a normal E3. Like, people didn't buy in. Like, there was Street Fighter 6, there was a handful of other games.
Street Fighter 6 and Sonic Frontiers were the headliners.
Right. Where like normally almost any major big game that's coming out within the year or 2 years or something had playable, either playable or hands-off demo that the press got to see. That was just not the case this year. Like, everything that we saw is the same thing. The press.
I think a big game for E3 Mac is we will get those demos, and hey, even Treehouse will be a big thing for Nintendo.
Right, I hope
we'll see those like whatever fucking game they announce that by E3.
It's wild that Final Fantasy 16 is probably going to come out without press getting any like, we never got any preview anything from it, which is kind of weird.
I think we still will get preview because people will still be getting previews despite no physical events and stuff. So I think we still will get that with 16 beforehand. Yeah, but I know what you mean.
Yeah, I just hope that that's more
no big like physical event that people are going to. Right. Speaking of big physical events, Last of Us HBO. We got a trailer for that between our last podcast and this.
It was about 82 years ago, but yes, we did.
Darby, what'd you think?
I thought it looked good.
Yeah.
Looked pretty good. Looked pretty neat.
I think what will help this is, hey, it's like it's faithful.
Yes, yeah. I mean, obviously it was just like a bunch of shots or whatever, but all the shots look like, you could add, so you could tell exactly what you were looking at.
Yeah, it's harder for me to do it, and because I literally have not played The Last of Us since 2013. So
I played all the way through at least twice, but it has been a while.
Yeah, so exact shots I wouldn't be able to recognize immediately, but people who played it more recently in multiple times are like, oh, that's exactly this, and put the screenshot like that. The background of that room is literally the same.
It's pretty cool, and I like there's gonna be a little bit of adjustment, but I like Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey. What's her name? I think they both look good in the parts or whatever. Music choice was a little weird. It was a little Last of Us, but it was a little like old Western. It wasn't quite what I think of as the Last of Us feel of music, but overall it was close enough. But no, I thought for a first trailer that didn't show a whole lot. Like I thought the vibes were right. I think everything. Like I'm pretty optimistic. I think HBO was like probably the single best partner that could have gotten this. Like, especially just for The Last of Us, is just kind of, I feel like it's
especially the kind of content HBO likes to make, and especially from a budget standpoint to do it all justice. And
I'm pretty optimistic. At this point, I would be pretty surprised if it turns out to be bad, which is which that's a statement for a lot of video game adaptation things. I think this one's gonna nail it. I believe.
My expectations at this point is like it's at least going to be okay at worst.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how far this first season goes or whatever.
And I think it's gonna do the whole
first game, and just how much is added,
and Left Behind, will be. Because there's definitely a clip from Left Behind in there.
Yeah, I wonder if Left Behind will be there like through flashbacks or something. That's what I kind of feel like.
I think we talked about this before. My prediction is at some point, like midpoint for the season, there's going to be some lots of the spoilers when maybe Joel is
use the timestamps.
Joel is out of commission around winter. Maybe that's when they just throw that in.
There'll be a Left Behind episode, flashback episode. It'll be something like
once you kind of establish Ellie's character,
right? They'll make it matter for Ellie. Like, you'll be seeing it for a reason that's tied to Ellie.
Or maybe they do. They sprinkle out the story throughout the episodes.
Yeah, they might. They might just flash to I forget what the other girl's name was, but then they might cut to her several times, and you're like, who you're supposed to be like, who is that? And then you learn there's so many things you could do, and I think they will add on to the story and flesh out the Fireflies and things like that, but I don't get the feeling that there's going to be crazy big changes. I think it's just going to be coloring in the lines, which is what I want. I think the story is so top to bottom amazing already, and it's a video game. It's not like it was it got to explore a lot of these things already. I don't think you need to add a whole hell of a lot to, I get the feeling this will be pretty faithful, pretty one to one. So I'm excited about that. Which, so too often these adaptations, they overthink it and they're like, oh, we have to change all this for the audiences or so they understand it, and you end up kind of ruining it.
Yeah,
it's like
Us of Us is generally fits like how HBO wants to do, and they seem to they're definitely popping out of, hey, this is our next big show for next year. We had House of the Dragon this year. Last of Us seems to be it
right.
for next year.
And the fact that it's a high budget show is the best possible thing. If they had tried to, if they were saying, oh, we're going to make it into a movie, I'd be like, oh God, no, you're going to cram all of this into
and we talked about,
like,
I expect this is a pretty good chance as one that like our parents are probably going to watch. Especially if we throw out the recommendation.
I'm going to push it on them, and I bet they will like it. Yeah. No, I think this will probably be pretty huge.
Yeah. Easy. Other news.
Sorry, this will be another one, just real quick. It'll be another one similar to the Cyberpunk. I'll be very interested to see what the player base numbers and how many copies of the game they sell like after this comes out, because I feel like that's going to be a big bump. If like The Witcher had a big bump from the Netflix show, I bet that's going to be.
Especially since I think the way they talked about it, part 1 at the very least should be out on PC by then.
Yeah.
So
it's going to be big.
You.
Other news.
We have seen the Mario movie trailer. You can look at our reactions on YouTube.com/nerd@large.
Everybody calm down.
And it looks good.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. It looks like a fun movie.
The only thing questionable right now, Chris Pratt's still over. We'll see how that goes. But every one of those voices we heard and the general tone and the way things look, I'm down for.
Yes. Yeah. No.
Kind of like with The Last of Us. I mean, I expect obviously The Last of Us to be a higher quality, yada yada yada. It'll be funny. Sorry, let me finish.
Two very different things.
Yeah. I'm kind of like, okay, I think it's gonna be at least okay. Like it'll be enjoyable.
Yeah.
At the very least.
Yes.
But it will be funny because now that Game Awards has added that a best adaptation thing, it's going to be Last of Us v Mario next year.
That's fun.
Last of Us will win.
But no, I think the visuals, everything, the art style or whatever is very, very good. It's like it looks very Mario, but they're also like going obviously into some visual depth and everything that we've never seen with Mario. Like Bowser's ship coming in looks badass with like the fire coming down or whatever. And like the thing that I'm going to be very excited about is things like the penguins. There's just a goofy little penguin in Mario 64 turns into this whole ass kingdom.
Nah, I love the penguin bit.
Yeah, I do too. My only concern with that is like they have so little to go off of with this. Like I said, it's just a penguin. Yeah. And they turned the penguin into this whole thing. I'm just a little worried that the illumination-ness of it, the minions-ness of it, might start to rear its ugly head. But when like they have so little to go off on these characters, so I hope they don't just like kind of slap some very I don't know, just cringe minion-esque characterization or humor onto something because they have like nothing to go off of. So they just like
I definitely had that. That was my main fear going into like seeing this thing, but this trailer made me feel a little better about the prospects of that.
I agree. Yeah.
But no, obviously, that until we see the movie or even like at least another trailer, that fear is still going to linger.
Yeah, it is still there. But so far, so good. So far, it's very good. Like I think Jack Black was good. Like again, I did picture like Bowser being a little more dragon deep, dark, like kind of like, I don't know, just scary sounding. He's a little more goofy, but overall, I think Jack Black seems good with it. Chris Pratt does. My issue above anything else is just that he just sounds like generic movie protagonist. Man, he sounds very kind of the straight man. The like, oh, what's going on here? It just doesn't. It seems indistinguishable from like just insert protagonist here, which I was like, hoping for a little bit more like Mario wackiness. I don't know. It's like, which we've only heard like 2 lines.
Something at least for the rest of the movie that gets me like give me more hope is what little, not much, but what we heard from Keegan Michael Key being Toad, which is like If anyone says that sounds exactly like him, I would call you a liar. Because if we didn't know it, we would not know that was him.
No.
And I think that's a good sign. And I think the voice that he's using for Toad, again, based on the little we heard, is good. Where it's like it kind of fits Toad, but it's not the not as crazy.
It needed to be shrill. The whole ass movie.
Okay.
The whole movie. Just the whole movie.
The next Splatfest will be based on Pokemon starter types. That's fun. I mean, it's what I predicted.
Very cute.
I kind of expected.
I'm surprised they haven't done that already.
Well, the reason they didn't is because there's only 2 choices.
Right.
That's why they played like immediately when they did, like, oh, they're going to do this.
Right.
They have to. Around Scarlet and Violet's release. And lo and behold.
Oh, we all know fire is going to win the thing, even though like I think grass, but fire is going to win the thing because everyone's everyone's been.
Plus, water should be big man.
I just mean as a whole, the population's basic.
Mm-hmm. True. Sony will reportedly make 2 million PSVR 2s at launch.
Damn, they're very enthusiastic.
Yeah, there's 2 million PSVR 2s at launch, which is a good bit up from, the original one, and yada, yada, yada. So it looks like they're predicting this to do pretty well.
Sounds like a lot.
Yeah.
I can't get a finger on this. Just because, again, if someone came to me and asked me what they should buy, I would point them to or Meta, whatever. I would point them to the Meta Quest thing or whatever over PSVR 2 any day. I would.
Yeah, we don't need to run through it. That's what we talked about. There's no reason to believe that Sony right now is going to.
The one thing I do not think this is just going to blow up and be a huge, crazy, huge success. I think it could be a good enough success for this 2 million to be okay. I just don't. But I still see a potential reality where this really does not get any bigger than PSVR 1, and it just this is another forgotten.
Well, I think what does hurt its potential chances is the fact that, well, as you mentioned, the Quest 2 exists.
Yeah. So, I mean, what is your expectations for it? Because I don't know where to think. I think all possibilities are still kind of on the table.
I think it might have a chance, but at the moment, it's clear that it's not like when PSVR was launching and going into the first couple of years. It feels like Sony was really pushing it. And I'm just not feeling that from them right now. No. It's like they're releasing this, and they're making a Horizon game for it. But I'm not really feeling like they're. I have no reason to believe they're actually going to push it at that much. But
I still look at the Horizon thing, and it still just looks like a little kind of bite-sized experience. It still doesn't feel like we're really at the you're really getting the big blowout of the thing. It's like,
it's like I feel like. Yeah, Meta is looking to make more of those games. Obviously, like Resident Evil 4. It's a remake, but that is more of what we kind of would want from that and all.
Yeah.
And we saw what studios and Zabang's okay, they're all in. Sony's been shutting down their VR studios.
That's all. I'm sure you agree. I'm still shocked this is happening.
No, yeah. Leading up to the announcement of this, we were like, are they even gonna make one?
I thought
we had no particular reason to believe this thing was actually going to exist.
No.
So yeah, I mean, I'm not planning on getting it. It's going to suck when they release an Astrobot for it, because that will be the game I want to play. But about everything else that I will probably want to play, maybe besides 1 or 2 other exclusives, will just come to Quest.
Yeah.
Either it will launch at the same time, or be like Moss 2, where it's going to come out a couple months later.
Yeah.
So yeah. Skull and Bones delayed until March 9th, 2023.
Look out, March. Skull and Bones is coming for you.
It's coming for you. And they got to release it.
Legally have to release it.
They legally have to be rare. Yeah, they need to push this back to make it any kind of polish, because what they have shown does not look good. But at the same time, what is not good is not necessarily the polish, it's the game itself. So I have no hope.
There's no hope.
I feel for the devs, but they're kind of because it's from their boss, you legally have to make this.
Yeah, no, it's coming out in March. Hell or high weather, it's coming out.
Yeah. So yeah. Ed Boon says Mortal Kombat's 30th anniversary is Studio's main focus for now. And this is when we respond to people hey, when's the next game? So maybe don't expect the It's a weird thing to read. It could be.
It's our focus this week. And next week, here's the thing. Okay, it's passed. I don't know. It's like,
that's why is it other news for it out there? It's like, I'm still, spoiler alert, I'm still probably going to have to bet. Is another game going to be announced for our betting special?
That's just an ongoing bet until it happens.
Pretty much. Unless they say, hey, it's literally not, we're literally not announcing something for another year plus. Microsoft generated $2.9 billion in revenue at Game Pass sales last year.
Dang.
That sounds like a lot. I think
that was a high number.
Like 16% of Microsoft's revenue, or Xbox's in particular. So
seems like a lot.
Yeah.
I'm no businessman.
Indeed. Persona 4 Gold and Persona 3 Portable were released on modern consoles in January 23. And if you looked the video and saw my face, it's not because of those, because I'm excited to potentially play those at some point on Switch. But this was the last announcement of Persona's 25th anniversary celebration. They talked about announcing multiple projects, and they only really announced ports and concerts and merch.
This is why hope is a mistake, Jeff.
How the fuck do you announce your celebration is going to last a year after Persona 5 released forever ago, and you don't at least do a fucking teaser of 6? You can do the bare fucking minimum at this. How do you not do fucking anything? I will throw out that one of the head Atlas guys said that COVID did fuck them up with some of their announcements, but COVID was also a thing last year, so you knew this was coming.
They had a number of announcements. It's not. I mean, yeah.
And they said projects, and one of the projects was the release date for one of the other projects.
I don't think you can really say COVID as far as 6 not being one of the projects, because you had a number of the things and you did them all. It's not like they got to the end and said, "Hey, we can't announce the last one because of COVID." It's pretty funny.
Fucking Atlas.
Pretty funny.
Trash ass company, am I right?
Never made a good game in their life.
But Darby, you mentioned hope is a mistake. And this last one, the hope is real.
The hope's come back. Hope's making a resurgence.
Let me try to get the actual details of it, because it's kind of funny. Crash Bandicoot. Activision sent influencers and stuff pizza boxes, highlighting Crash 4 is coming out to PC next week. That's fun. But there's a little detail on the box. On the pizza box, a little message teasing a new Wumpa pizza available for $12.08.
That's an odd price.
Yes. And when you look at the date, it is December 8th, which happened to be the same day as my birthday.
It's your birthday!
But also the Game Awards. So it looks like we're getting a new Crash game announced at the Game Awards. Let's fucking go. Crash 4 is an amazing game.
So I have heard from my good friend Jeff Mann.
So I am all for another Crash game, and I'm glad, despite everything, they not shelving Crash.
I didn't expect this, really. I mean,
so there is, to potentially put a little wrench in this, as far as like to lower some excitement, as far as like a platformer. There's been rumor of a Wumpa League game. Crash Wumpa League, whatever the fuck. I think it's like maybe like a Mario Party-esque thing. I'm not really sure what it is, but it's rumored forever. It could be that. Who knows? But Crash lives.
Yeah, Crash lives. We'll hold on to the hope for now. Yeah.
But yeah.
That's hype.
Yep.
Hype.
Hey, that's at least one announcement I'm looking forward to all 2 months in advance for Game Awards.
I don't know. Crash is a fucking sellout. He's on Nintendo now after all those ads back then. I don't know. I can't support this sellout.
God, I wish he got in the Smash. That'd be great.
They should have. They should have. I'm not even a Crash fan. It just would have been hype.
At least we got Sora.
At least we got Byleth.
True.
What we all needed. What we all hoped to dream of.
Now, God, imagine how legendary that DLC would be from top to bottom if Bios were replaced with Crash. I know people would have pointed to Midman and Pyramid for, but fuck them.
Thank you guys so much for listening to the Nerds Large Gaming Podcast. I had an excellent time with you, Jeffrey Mayo.
Look forward to next podcast. Yes. Where I will probably for sure be talking about Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope.
Woo!
Comes out next week.
Hype. And we close to Pokemon.
Pokemon next month. God of War end of this month.
God
Resident
of
Evil
War.
8 DLC.
I guess it God of War like early November.
I'll just look real quick.
I might be wrong. For some reason, I thought it was like the 6th or some shit.
I think it's a little later than that, but I think it's in the November 9th. So you're close.
Hey. So that's like real close to.
Yep.
Real close. Let's go. Let's go.
Sonic Frontiers the day before.
Callisto the next month. We got some games.
Video games.
Let's go. All right. Peace.